Okay, I'll ask just one question, I guess, final one, if you don't mind, Fernando.
Sure.
Three issues on inflation, right? We got wages and salaries, we have the supply constraints, and this reckless fiscal spending. And now you add a fourth one, which is the geopolitical issue, and the Ukraine and Russia problem are going to have, I think, a lot of long-lasting damages here in the markets. One of them being the protectionist policies I think we're going to see across the globe. But also there's another one I've been thinking a lot about, which is the issue with treasuries. And I don't know where you fall in that camp with the sanctions of holding up the Russian reserves and so forth. And I think the crypto market was the beginning of sort of a libertarian move, one of the biggest libertarian moves we've seen in history of really questioning the anchor, the lack of anchor on fiat currencies in general, and this lack of credibility from fiat currencies of not having a tangible asset to back it up, the value of those currencies. And so we've seen kind of the beginning of this trend of central banks perhaps looking at adding or improving the quality of the international reserves. Do you think that could have, do you think that's a real trend, number one? Number two, do you think there's going to be an impact on things like gold as returning its role in the monetary system as it had in over many centuries?
Yes and yes. Yeah, you're right. The Russians thought they had of reserves, and then they found that half of it was taken away from them by Western central banks. The Chinese have well over $1 trillion. They got to start wondering the same thing as well, too. And let's throw in what happened in Canada in February, too, with the Canadian truckers. They declared this is a democracy that declared a emergency, invoked their Emergencies Act, and then used that to freeze the bank accounts of not only protesters, but people that donated to the protesters, fully recognizing that when you gave $100 to a Canadian truck protest in January, it was perfectly legal to do that. But then under the Emergencies Act, we have this thing called a retroactive law. Now it's illegal. And now what you did in January is now deemed illegal. And your punishment is we're going to freeze all your money is what we're going to do. So I think that in the long term, the sovereignty of money has taken a tremendous hit, probably a terminal hit. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to rush out and open up a Bitcoin wallet today or start buying, physical gold coins and store them under their bed today. But we're going to start moving in that direction. And it began in February, because February was it started with the Canadian truckers and it ended with the central bank and the reserves with Russia. And it will grow and grow and grow. And more people are going to look at how to protect themselves. The problem with gold, why isn't gold doing better than it's doing now, is that it's too financialized. People, when I say to people, I make this argument and gold will do well. And I'll hear it all the time. Somebody, yes, and that's why I own GLD. And I'll say, no, that's why you don't want to own GLD. Because if you own GLD, they're going to be able to, with the, a tap on a keyboard, take that away from you as well, too, because you hold it in an account. Futures, derivatives on gold, options on gold, ETFs on gold. This is the problem with gold. It's too financialized. We got to get back to, you got to buy Krugerrands or you got to buy other gold coins and stick them under your bed. Well, that's hard to do. I don't even know where to go buy those things. And when I do call a coin dealer, they're out of them. That's how gold is going to have to go back to, because it's going to be about protecting wealth. It's not going to be about buy gold because I think it's going to go to 10,000, although it might do that, or 5,000 or some big number. But it's buy gold because no matter what happens, it can't be taken away from me. Put your money in a Bitcoin wallet because the belief is no matter what happens, somebody's not going to come back to me and say, remember that thing you said 2 years ago that was perfectly fine? Well, today it's not fine. I want all your money is what they can wind up doing to you at this point. So I do think that trend is underway. It is positive for gold. It is positive for crypto, but that's a multi-year trend. It's not going to happen immediately.
Very good. Thank you very much, Jim, for your time. Thank you very much, Tavi. It's been a fascinating discussion, and I hope we can do this again another time.
It was great.
I enjoyed it, guys.